John F. Kennedy has had one of the most controversial presidencies in our American history, but surprisingly, this controversy is not found in the actions of his presidency.
Among the many things Kennedy accomplished as president was his role in keeping America safe during the Cuban Missile Crisis, where we were threatened by Soviet missiles from Cuba. This and his positive influence in the Cold War was in fact putting him in a good place to be re-elected as president in the 1964 election to come.
Kennedy was well aware of his position in the following election and started a speaking tour to rally up support, in which he traveled with his team and gave public speeches around the country. Promoting himself, he was specially invested into winning the states of Texas and Florida.
In Texas, Kennedy was experiencing great success, with speeches given in San Antonio, Houston, and Fort Worth. He was sure to receive the Democratic nomination. Unfortunately, though, his Fort Worth address was the last one he'd ever give.
Kennedy was assassinated at 46 years old, shortly after landing in Dallas, being shot in the neck while in his motorcade.
And it went a little something like this.
And here we see President John F. Kennedy as he arrives in Dallas for his tour. What a privilege it is to hear from Kennedy firsthand. He's coming from a previous showing in Fort Worth and is seeking a second term as president.
So it's finally time. Let's see about that second term, Mr. President.
What in tarnation? Well, I can't believe it. It looks as though the president has been shot. This just in from Dallas. President John F. Kennedy has been assassinated. You heard me right, assassinated. We've been informed by his team and his wife that the president ignored many of the government's safety recommendations by his own will. And more importantly, that the man responsible for all of this was lone gunman Lee Harvey Oswald. While he had no real motives, he has been detained and the area is currently safe. But as for the president, he's sadly gone, and America heavily mourns their loss of the great man.
Kennedy's brutal death was a surprise to many American citizens. Soon afterwards, the country could finally rest as presidential power was passed to Lyndon B. Johnson, and Lee Harvey Oswald was caught. But was he really the culprit?
On November 22nd, 1963, 46-year-old President John F. Kennedy was supposedly assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald in a motorcade on his way to Dallas on a speaking tour promoting his re-election. While this opinion is still widely accepted today, newfound evidence pronounced by the HSCA seems to have discovered a conspiracy associated with his assassination. Due to questionable motives by Oswald, evidence of several gunmen, and a flawed investigation at the time of the crime, Lee Harvey Oswald was most likely involved in a conspiracy covering up Kennedy's death as a lone act of murder.
There's a substantial amount of evidence that suggests that Kennedy was killed as part of a conspiracy. One key point made by several witnesses, and Dr. James Joseph Humes performed Kennedy's autopsy, was that the bullets that killed Kennedy had to have come from two different positions. The trajectory of the bullets could not have both come from Oswald's location. Also, Oswald was only found to have 3 bullets in his rifle. His marksmanship would have to be extraordinary to hit Kennedy twice, as well as injure Governor Connolly, who was non-fatally shot.
Witness accounts of Oswald pinpoint him at the 6th floor of a building that puts him in a position to not be aligned to the concluded trajectory of the bullets. The time of the investigation saw many flawed technologies, but with today's medical technology, it would be nearly impossible for Oswald to do the damage he did from his position with only 3 bullets. Not to mention, most witnesses reported hearing gunshots from opposite directions, which would explain the trajectory of Kennedy's shots.
With the Cuban Missile Crisis still fresh and Soviet tensions on the rise, Oswald was likely part of a Soviet scheme to assassinate the president and give them an edge.
And here we see President John F. Kennedy as he arrives in Dallas for his tour. What a privilege it is to hear from Kennedy firsthand. He's coming from a previous showing in Fort Worth and is seeking a second term as president.
It's finally time. Are you ready? Whenever you're ready, Mr. Oswald. Get the president now, and you've got big money coming to you. The Soviet Union will be pleased. been done, sir. What now? Very good, very good. Now come see me back in Mexico, Mr. Oswald. Good things.
Here with the latest information on President Kennedy's assassination. We have convicted suspect Lee Harvey Oswald and have confirmed his affiliation with the Soviet Union. Given orders by a Soviet ambassador, Oswald has been convicted of treason and is facing charges, while inherent President Lyndon B. Johnson plans to deploy troops in Russia to retaliate the attack on President Kennedy. While the Soviets decided to do this is unsure, while transition of power and military action will see that this does not give them any advantage in the Cold War. America mourns in this loss.
This conspiracy directly connects to the initial investigation that ruled Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated Kennedy. This conspiracy just ties in the Soviet Union, where Oswald was supposed to get paid by the Soviet Union. However, he was convicted before he was given his reward, and the Soviet Union was not behind the attack.
With evidence showing that the CIA met with Oswald before the assassination and that the records of their contact were never released, it can be concluded that the CIA could have helped in the assassination of JFK out of anger towards his actions on foreign affairs.
And here we see President John F. Kennedy as he arrives in Dallas for his tour. What a privilege it is to hear from Kennedy firsthand. He's coming from a previous showing in Fort Worth and is seeking a second term as president.
So it's finally time. Are we ready? Yep. Yes, we are. On my count. 3, 2, 1, fire!
Here with the latest information on President Kennedy's assassination, we have convicted suspect Lee Harvey Oswald and have confirmed his affiliation with the CIA. Given orders by the CIA, Oswald has been convicted of treason and is facing charges, while inherent President Lyndon B. Johnson plans to further investigate the CIA and its agents. It's incredibly shocking that our own secret services would act in such a way, but a large-scale reevaluation of the CIA is currently in process, and congressional action regarding how much privacy these agencies receive is being made. Lyndon B. Johnson is being questioned as well as by the Supreme Court, but it's unlikely that he planned this attack for his political pursuits. What is causing a lot of speculation, however, is the influences of alleged mobsters with the CIA, from their recruitment in the attempted assassination of Fidel Castro. Yes, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the CIA worked in partnership with mobs in Miami and New Orleans, plotting Castro's death. But as we know now, this failed. Why this failed and whether it has direct correlation to Kennedy's assassination is unknown, but it's clear that the CIA had an involvement.
In brief, we believe that President Kennedy's assassination was led by CIA officials in which Oswald may have been a shooter or not. While none of the Kennedy theories have been completely proved, we believe that the substantial evidence against the lone gunman theory and the CIA's shady agenda around this time points to our conclusion. But why the CIA, you might ask?
Oswald met with the FBI about a week before the assassination. These records of their encounter were never released, leaving an odd secretive feel behind the murder. Also, they met in Mexico City, which was a hub for CIA agents at the time. With our role in the Cold War and with Cuba, as stated in the news report, the CIA had previously reached out to mob figures to help take out political figures, and we believe that Kennedy was another example of this. With this evidence combined with the proof of several gunmen, it is clear that the CIA was involved in the conspiracy to kill the president.
But still, it's just a theory, a conspiracy theory.